Welcome back to Wizard Supercoach. Today I'll be using the spreadsheet to have a look at the midfielders for this year. I think that the midfield is actually going to be harder than the forward line. For all the talk about how the forward line is shit, I get that, but for the midfield, there's just so many good options, but at the same time, I don't think there's any outstanding options that are must picks. I can't really think of a single one. So yeah, I guess I'll get into it. There is two spreadsheets, so just because there's so many options, there's another one there. But yeah, I'll start with the top end players, I guess. Obviously, the Bont last year was incredible. Now, can we afford to start a player that's 724k? You know what you're going to get from him, so there's really no wrong answer. Like, if you pick him, it's fine. I don't think I will be, but it is tempting because he feels somewhat like a safety net. Clary, I can't really spend much time on him. Who knows what's going on there? Supposedly he's back at training and stuff, but he was by himself. It's a bit of a train wreck. Yeah, I don't even know. Even if he does line up in round one, the guy's a ticking time bomb. At that price as well, hard to avoid. Oh, and you'll notice as well that I haven't filled in the role column here. It's because there's not really any need to. Have a look at all of these. They're all CBA midfielders, so it's a lot less relevant than the other positions. Petrarca, now he averages slightly more without Clary in the team. Off the top, I didn't actually have a look. So off the top of my head, I can't tell you how much more it was. I didn't write it down for some reason here, but anyway, I think it's about 125 or something without Clary. So if Clary doesn't line up round one, then Petrarca's a pretty good starting option. I could see him, getting around the 125. If Melbourne go better this year as well, I honestly could see him going 130, but that's probably less likely. Rory Laird, another pretty safe pick. I don't think he's going to regress, but I don't see him jumping up either. He's probably going to hover around that 115 to 120 mark. He didn't have any drop off in his average once Crouch come into the team for those last 6 or so games, but he is over 30 now, so not being ageist, but there might be a bit of regression just given that, but I don't think so. He's just a pig. Zach Merritt. Now, you might wonder why I've got him here as his increase dropping by 10. He's a different case because for some reason he always starts off really slow. So this isn't what I think his average will be for the season. It's just how I think he'll start maybe in the first half of the season. He might average, 100 and, 105, 106, something like that. And then we know he always pumps it up big time later. So he's not really a starting pick. It's purely for that reason. Libba, he's 30 plus and he's got Bevo to contend with. I think he'll come down a bit. Last year I think it was his best season in Supercoach, so he'll probably come down maybe around the 110 mark, I reckon, something like that. So for that reason I wouldn't be starting him, but I said the same last year and he really burnt anyone that didn't start him, so I don't know. These are just guesses. Dawson, another safe pick. He, Laird and Crouch will get all the CBAs at the Crom. I'm pretty confident in that, but I don't see him really increasing or decreasing. Him and Laird, I think, are going to be pretty similar, and they'll hover where they are. Dunkley, he's an interesting one. He had a slow start to last year. I think he and Neil were trying to find that balance in the midfield together. I can see him definitely going up, maybe to 120 odd. So he's not a bad value pick, but it's not mega value or anything like that. But if you look here, he's got pretty good colours across the 4 categories. I know the team one I say doesn't mean too much. It's more for defenders and forwards, I think. But yeah, Dunkley's not a bad pick. He's just got that shitty round zero game, which means he's going to have the 2 buys. But I don't know. You can't go through and not have any of the round zero players, I guess. Butters. Yeah, what can you say? I think natural progression is going to make him top 8 this year. He's the number 1 man at Port, quite clearly. You can see him going up to breaking that 120, 125 type average. So yeah, he's another good starting one. And I think at this stage, I'll be starting him. LDU, if he can stay injury free, we saw what he could do last year, but it's always been a case lately of, can he be injury free? He's probably going to cop tags being the number 1 man at North, but it doesn't seem to bother him too much. So I can see him increasing his average, but I can also see injury again stopping him a bit. Not a bad pick though. He seems to be quite popular, and he doesn't have that shitty buy. So yeah, one to watch for sure. Golden's a weird one because he seems to be the only winger on this list. Average 111. He could definitely kick that up again. The fact that he's now mid only makes him a harder pick, I think. We know what Horse likes to do with players. We saw him destroy Callum Mills by just turning him into a Mr. Fix-It. I hope he doesn't do the same with Golden, but I guess Golden and Mills are a little bit different. Like, Mills is more of a defender. Golden seems like maybe more of a half-forward type player if Horse was going to mess around with that. But yeah, another fairly safe pick, apart from the fact that he has that extra buy. So I really do think this year that the people who plan for the buys more than ever are going to be the ones that get the rewards at the end. Sarong, another good one. He doesn't have the buy. You can see him just through natural progression again, bumping up another 5 or so. If you look at his career, his Supercoach points are on a steady upward trend. But again, none of these are crazy value. Like, they're all 600k plus, so there's not a hell of a lot of room to move there. But yeah, another good option. Tom Green, he's another really popular one. He does have that buy, but if he jumps up as far as some people are saying, it probably wouldn't matter. I don't think he's going to jump up as high as what people think. I see him as fairly similar to Matt Rao. He doesn't have much of an outside game, so I think that limits the both of them. But I'll get to Rao later. Lockie Neal, again, 30 plus, has the buy. He is on a downward trend in terms of scoring. Not going near that. No way, not at that price. And undeserving Brownlow winner last year, I think. Just quickly, even though that's not Supercoach related, really, I think Bont was robbed. Brayshaw, he's another really popular one at the moment. Probably for the fact that he has no double buy there like the others. 109, we know he can go higher than that. Yeah, I think, maybe he'll increase a little bit. I don't think he's going to increase as much as some people are saying, though. Chera is really the interesting one. I would probably have him in my team if it wasn't for the fact that he's playing round 0. So 108 average last year. He missed a few games with injury. He goes at, well, last year he went at 1.16 points per minute, which is like right up there. He doesn't need high CBAs either to get these scores. He went on a massive run there where he was getting like 130s, 140s, and then he got injured. So he's a bit like LDU. If he could string like a whole season together, I think he'd definitely be worth a look. Rosie, he's consistent with he's got a lower ceiling, I think. Not like Butters. Yeah, I think he's going to hover around that 105 to 110 mark. Can't see him really getting any higher than that. So he's a decent pick, but if you're looking for value, I don't think he's it. Taranto, he's another interesting one. So 106 average, and I've got here the 0 average increase because I think he'll stay around the same. But last year he was averaging 119 pre-buy and then 86 post-buy. I don't know why, because his CVAs were still right up in the second half of the year. If anyone could tell me in the comments why he dropped off so rapidly, that would be good. Which one is the real Tim Taranto? Is it 119 average or the 86? Because if it's the 119, he is massive value right there. I guess it just depends why and whether you believe that that's the real one. Noah Anderson, 105 average. I felt like he did a bit better than that, so I was surprised it was only 105. I think he's got value. You can see him doing around 110. There's been suggestions that Dimmer may choose to put Flanders in the middle, and that means that one of Anderson, Rao, and Took is going to have to be pushed out. Anderson looks like maybe the most likely because he can go on the wing. I don't think Flanders will, because if you looked last year, he didn't really, even when he went on that scoring run, he wasn't even getting high CVAs or anything. He can just play off the half forward flank and rack it up. So I don't think really Dimmer will look to move any of the three. I think they're all pretty safe. And yeah, Rao, he's probably the safest of all because he's a bit like Matt Crouch. He can only play inside mid. So if Dimmer was going to move him, it's only to the bench, which he's not going to do. So yeah, Rao, he could probably increase by 5, I reckon. Natural progression, all that stuff. I skipped over Walsh. He had a massive final series. You can see him going 10 more, I reckon. Like, yeah, that 110 to 115 average. I'm just not convinced on him body-wise, though. It always seems like he's carrying something or something's niggling him or... yeah, I thought he missed quite a few games last year, but turns out he didn't. But yeah, that's because he's always just carrying something or getting over something. I don't feel like we ever really get to see the real Walsh, except for in the finals there. Chad Warner, I wouldn't be picking him. He's got the round 0 fixture. He's got a really low floor, which is annoying. I know he's really young, but yeah, I don't know with him. He seems like one that could just go bang, but he could also just as easily destroy your season. So I would avoid. I've only got him here because he's at least worth the discussion. And that's the thing, I'm not advocating to pick all of these guys, obviously. They're just the ones that I think are worth talking about. So that's it for the guys averaging over 100. So now I got the other one here. John Newcomb, he's one that's pretty popular right now. I think Hawthorn's going to improve a lot this year, and that could really help him go up to like a 105 to 110 average. He's still young. He's kind of similar to Rory Laird, I think. Like, gets a lot of tackles and all that. So, I guess he's unlike Laird though in that he has a low floor. So that's a bit of a worry. I wouldn't be picking him, but yeah, I do think that people picking him because they think the Hawks are going to improve is a pretty good shout. Took Miller, 97 average last year, had that shitty injury. I think he'll go back up to like, 105 to 110. He's done 120 averages 2 out of the last 3 years, I believe, before that. So we know that he's absolutely elite when he's up and running, but it's going to be a case of, is he up and running? How is Dimmer going to impact that midfield? But yeah, I back him in. I think I'd definitely be choosing him if it wasn't for the fact he's playing round 0. I'm just totally undecided right now. And the next video I do will be, I guess, my first draft team, but I just don't know what to do regarding the buy stuff. Like, there's some players that I want to choose, but I'm also trying to avoid those round 0 players as much as possible. So wait and see, I guess. Jack Steele, he's another one similar to Took. He's got really good Supercoach pedigree, good history. Supposedly, he's back to roughly what the size he was in 2021. We won't know because the weights are no longer published. I'm not even going to comment on that. But yeah, 95 average last year. And yeah, similar to Took, he could go up, I don't know, 105 to 110, something like that. If he gets back to his best, even better. But yeah, I'd definitely be considering him right now because this here is a good sign and he's not playing round zero. He could quite easily be a top 8 mid. I know I've got him here in the orange, but yeah. He's a bit like Warner. He's likely to go, just as likely to go big as he is crash. So McCluggage, he's a real interesting one, I think. A lot of people have been talking about the CBAs thing, and without Ashcroft, is it Dev Robertson that gets him, or who is it? McCluggage went 107.5 without Ashcroft. Once Ashcroft got injured, McCluggage really picked up the slack. Now, I don't necessarily think that's because he picked up the CBAs that were left behind. In fact, let's have a look. Who did? It was McCluggage. So, yeah, I would really be looking at him. He's priced at 93, the 523. So if he goes at 107 there, what does that make him? It's going to price him at about 600k. So you're getting about 80,000 value there if he continues that 107 average. So definitely worth a look. Again, though, he's spoiled because he's got that extra buy. Definitely one to watch though. Nick Martin, all the talk that he's going to be playing off half back. I do like it, but I don't know how you fit him in with Redmond and McGrath back there as well. Ridley, you'd think, would be taking the kick outs. So yeah, I'm not sure how that one's going to work. That's a watch. I'll write it now. Matt Crouch. Yeah, he was big last year. He come back. I think he averaged 106 or something. I don't know why I haven't got it written here, but yeah, 106 or something when he played those last 6 or so games. For everyone saying, is he best 22? I don't think there's any question anymore. He is. Take it from a Crom supporter. I'm very confident that he's best 22 and that he'll be eating those CBAs with Laird and Dawson. The three of them work really well together. That's all you have to know. He's good value. Again, not outstanding, but yeah, I'm going to have him in my team, I think. He's been there since day one, since the team picker opened, and I haven't moved him out. Yeah, my gut feels that he'll definitely be best 22, so all the people questioning that, I still haven't heard a good reason why. Carl Amon, he's similar to Martin, so he's supposedly going to be playing half back. He ended off last season there, and he actually did really well. I think he, similar to Crouch, I think he averaged around 106 or something. So that's good value if he is playing half back, but if he's not, then he's not really worth even looking at. He could make you a lot of money, and then swing him back or whatever once he gets the DPP. But again, yeah, it's all dependent on whether he's playing back or not. I got Horn Francis here. He's not been super popular so far, but I hate to admit it, but because he plays for the old foe, but he is bloody good and has massive potential. So I think that natural regression is gonna really take him up another step, especially if he can get the full pre-season this time without any kind of surgery or injuries and stuff. Looks like those scars on the back of his knees and stuff. Looks like he's all right now. So I can see him maybe getting high 80s, something like that. Maybe even low 90s, but yeah, somewhere in the 80s, I think, for him. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is his year and he breaks out and just goes 100 plus as well. Not saying it will happen, but I wouldn't be shocked. But yeah, I wouldn't be game enough to pick him. Cam Guthrie. Now he used to be a primo. 420. He's priced at 83. Or actually, he's not because he's got some kind of discount there. Cause I think he only played 5 games or something. But for what he can do, that's pretty good value. But for what I think he will do, given that he's 32 now, I think he's going to suck a lot of people in. There's been a bit of talk that he might play off the halfback as well, but I think given that Geelong's midfield is so weak now, they can't really afford to do it. So he'll be in there. I just don't think he's going to make enough make enough quick enough to be a viable cash cow. And he's definitely not going to be a keeper, so I would avoid him. Plus, he's got pretty bad durability, and it's only going to get worse as he gets older. Ruben Jimby, heard a lot of talk about him. Now, the good thing with him is that his job security would be rock solid because West Coast are rat shit, and I actually think they'll be better this year, but still, there's no one going to take his spot. So if he's going to be in the team, I think he'll be playing mid. He showed a lot last year. I thought he averaged more than 63. There might be like an injury game or something in there, but yeah, I could see him going up into the 80s as well. He's just a beast. But it's an awkward price, 354. You'd want to be pretty confident. So we'd need to see more from him to see how he goes in the trial games or whatever they're called these days. Good thing about most of these guys though down on this spreadsheet is that they're not playing in round 0. So and then after that we get like a few that are, I don't know, speculative or whatever you'd call them. I'm not even saying even really like reasons why they're good, just or not that they're good at all, just yeah, keep an eye on them because for certain different reasons. Will Brodie, he's priced at 71 from last year. Actually, that might be discounted, but still, 2022 he averaged 102, and then he randomly just got punted from the team for O'Meara. He's got massive points per minute when he does play. It's just he's not fit. He's never been a good runner, so he plays low time on ground. But he only needs to average low 80s to make you 150k, which he could do really quickly if he's playing. I'm not saying to pick him, he's just one to watch. So if he's playing in the midfield in the trial games, then I'd be very tempted to get him because we know what he can do. Sheldrick, he was looking the goods. I think he had 3 rookie games last year where he went 90 plus in a row, something like that, and then he got injured. If you take out his sub games from last year, he averaged 80. So if he averaged 80 again, he'd make you 150k, no problem. It's just that with Taylor Adams coming in and James Jordan and that, is he going to be a walk-up start in the midfield? Probably not. So he's got pretty bad job security, I guess. I wouldn't be game putting 300k into him. If he was a lot cheaper, then sure. But again, it's just a bit of an awkward price. Jared Lyons, he's one that could fill that void with the CBAs that Ashcroft leaves behind. But I think it's unlikely. I mean, if he did, then he's a pretty good pick. He used to be a primo. He'd only need to average in the low 70s to make you 150k. But yeah, he's pretty old now, and his best is well behind him. I can't see it happening. But if it did, then wouldn't be a bad pick. Now, this one here I hadn't even thought of myself, but on one of the other videos, Jackson Lewis commented and asked me about Elijah Hewitt. And the more I looked into it, the more I thought it's actually not too bad of a shout. His CBA's cranked up big time at the end of last season. So he still wasn't scoring great, but it shows that West Coast obviously have some kind of faith in him. And if he can continue to get the CBAs this year, you'd think that he'd start to score better, being his second year. And Supposedly he's bulked up a bit as well and looking really good at training. So yeah, good intel on that one, Jackson Lewis. I would definitely be keeping an eye on him. Sam Berry for the Crom, he was a weird one last year. I had him in my starting team. He averaged 87 in 2022, bit of a breakout year. And then he just mysteriously dropped off the face of the earth. He played, I think, the first 3 games, averaged about 45 points, and never got back in the team. Given that I'm confident Crouch will be starting, I don't think that there's any way they'll play those two in the same team because they can't play anywhere else. And obviously, Crouch is better. But if for some reason, if Crouch got injured or he got sent back to the sample, which is unlikely, and Berry came into the team, he can score well, and surely he knows this would be like his last chance. So if that happened, I'd probably be prepared to take the punt on him, given that he's only 226k. He could make you a massive amount of money. So now I've got some rookies, I guess. Colby McKercher, real popular pick. Everyone's going to have him, I think. Don't really have much to say about him. Riley Sanders, he's the same. Especially with Bailey Smith going down, it's going to open the door for more midfield opportunities at the Dogs. And he was the top scoring Supercoach player in the under 18s or whatever it was, the TAC Cup. And it was by quite a mile too, actually. I think he averaged like 120 or something. Henry Hustwaite from Hawks, he's an interesting one. So 66 average. I think he only played a couple of games. But I remember last year in the preseason he looked really good and I wanted to start him and then he wasn't named round 1. So keep an eye on him again. I don't think his job security is that great, but he is big body mid. Like, he's quite tall, so we know what they can do. Jackson Binns, another popular one, or semi-popular from Carlton. I don't think he'll get a game, just given how strong Carlton's midfield is. But yeah, he's on there anyway. I don't know too much about these guys. Like, they've got no history, some of them. So, Jai Clark at the Cats, he should get a game, but given that Brad Scott is obsessed with playing the old guys, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't get much of a look in. I think Geelong this year are going to go like one last chance with these old guys for some reason, and then if it doesn't work, they'll look to throw the kids in and rebuild, maybe in the second half of the season. He's meant to be pretty promising junior though, so, and it would help a lot if we had a 123k rookie that is getting a regular game. Jeremy Sharp, he was really good in his first year at Gold Coast. I couldn't understand why he wasn't getting a game most of the time after that, but he scored pretty well. I can't remember what it was. Obviously, being that price, he doesn't have to score much, and he's going to make you the 150k. So now should slot straight into that wing at Freo now that Liam Henry's gone. Maybe Chapman going onto the wing though might stop him from being a starter, but I don't know. Josh Sin at Port, another highly rated rookie. Not too much to go on. He only averaged 21 from a few games last year. But, you know, again, natural progression, being a young kid, he might go alright. I think they're going to look to wind down Boak even more, so that might open up a spot a bit more for Sin. Who knows? We know that in the finals last year, Port had a lot of injuries, and Kenny, well, when they were on the big winning run, he said that was the team with the most depth he's ever coached. And then once they got to the losing final, he said they had no depth and he had no choice but to play injured players. So I don't get that one. You can't have it both ways. But I guess the finals did prove that they do have a bit of a lack of depth. So a few injuries and stuff, and Sin could get a look in. And then the final one is Dematia. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. At Collingwood. He's probably got shitty job security given how strong Collingwood are, but he's meant to be training well, and that's why I've got him here. I think a lot of people have him in their team, maybe just even as a placeholder. But, don't go putting in 102 rookies for a placeholder because it gives you no room to move. But, yeah, that's about it. I think that the Supercoach this year is going to be won and lost in the midfield because as I said, there's just too many good options, but there's none that are absolute must picks. Probably the safest picks here are guys like McKercher and Sanders, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a confusing one. So I still haven't settled on a first draft team yet, but I will by the next video that should be in a couple of days. And it's all because of the midfield, because I just can't settle on anything that I really like. Let me know in the comments how you're navigating the midfield minefield. And yeah, I guess thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.